Welcome to Mr. Beebop. Chief Inspector Japp is a fictional character who appears as the Chief Inspector of Scotland Yard in several of Agatha Christie's novels featuring Hercule Poirot. Here are some interesting facts about the Inspector. Inspector Japp was inspired by the fictional police detective Inspector Lestrade from the Sherlock Holmes stories by Arthur Conan Doyle. Christie even modeled Japp after the ferret-like qualities of Lestrade. He is described in stories as a ferret-faced man, which is similar to the description of Lestrade as a ferret-like man in Doyle's 1891 short story, The Boscombe Valley Mystery. Inspector Japp has a tendency to jump to conclusions and to accept simple solutions to cases. However, he becomes a more competent and respected police detective over time, eventually becoming a capable chief inspector. He respects Poirot's abilities, but is sometimes rude to him. Though over the years, he becomes more of a friend to Poirot and works more closely with him. Japp sometimes accuses Poirot of making things difficult, when Poirot contradicts a solution which Japp believes is correct. However, when Japp is proved wrong, he acknowledges his mistakes and makes remarks such as, "You're the goods," to Poirot. In 1-2 Buckle My Shoe, the last novel in which he appears, Japp visits Poirot at his flat to apologize after doubting him and to tell Poirot he was right. When off duty, Japp is an ardent botanist, according to Hastings in the 1923 short story, The Market-Basing Mystery. Japp is described as little, sharp, dark, and ferret-faced in the 1920 novel, The Mysterious Affair at Styles, and as a little ferret-faced fellow in the 1923 short story, The Kidnapped Prime Minister. Japp has been depicted in 7 novels written by Christie, all featuring Hercule Poirot. In most of these appearances, Japp is a minor character with minimal interactions with Poirot or involvement in the plot. However, Japp emerges as a major character and partner to Poirot in Lord Edgware Dies. He returns in this capacity in Death in the Clouds and 1-2 Buckle My Shoe before being written out of the series. Inspector Japp is also briefly mentioned in the Tommy and Tuppence book, The Secret Adversary. His card is brought to Julius Hersheimer at the end of Chapter 5. In Chapter 17 of The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, Japp is mentioned by a police superintendent to Poirot as having asked after him. Japp is mentioned by Colonel Weston in Evil Under the Sun, the next book in the Poirot series after his final appearance. Japp is also mentioned in the novel Taken at the Flood by Superintendent Spence during a conversation with Hercule Poirot. Japp's career in the Poirot novels extends into the 1930s, but like Hastings, he disappeared from Christie's writing thereafter. A police officer somewhat similar in character, Superintendent Spence, was introduced as a significant recurring character in the later Poirot novels. Japp appears in Christie's stage play Black Coffee, written in 1929. He remarks to Poirot that it has been a long time since they last met, in connection with that Welsh case, which is not otherwise identified. Japp also appears in Charles Osborne's novelization of Black Coffee. Like those of Miss Lemon and Arthur Hastings, the role of Inspector Japp in Poirot's career has been exaggerated by adaptations of Christie's original novels, specifically by the British TV series Agatha Christie's Poirot, where these characters are often introduced into stories that did not originally feature them. Japp is played by Melville Cooper in the 1931 film adaptation of Christie's stage play Black Coffee. John Turnbull portrayed Japp in the 1934 film adaptation of Lord Edgware Dice, starring Austin Trevor as Poirot. Maurice Denham played Japp to Tony Randall's Poirot in 1965's The Alphabet Murders. Before Suchet took on the role of Poirot, he had previously played Japp himself in the 1985 film 13 at Dinner, where Peter Ustinov played Poirot. The role of Japp is famously played by Philip Jackson in 9 of 13 seasons of the British TV series Agatha Christie's Poirot, which ran from 1989 to 2013, and where Hercule Poirot's character is played by David Suchet. Philip Jackson portrays Japp as working class and thoroughly British, not very intelligent, but an extremely diligent, canny, and active police officer. Philip Jackson is also one of the actors who played Japp in the BBC radio adaptations of Poirot stories, produced contemporaneously with the Suchet TV series, and starring John Moffat as Poirot. Kotaro Satomi played Japp in the 2004 Japanese anime series Agatha Christie's Great Detectives Poirot and Marple on NHK. As the inspector's name is spelled similarly and pronounced in the same way as the ethnic slur Jap for Japanese, he was renamed Inspector Sharp. A retired Jap is played by Kevin McNally in the ABC Murders in 2018. The series starts with Japp dying of a heart attack, and a recurring subplot is Inspector Chrome, Japp's protege, expressing distrust of Poirot as he feels that working with Poirot ruined Japp's career. Thank you for watching. See you again next time.